Hey folks, Nathan here. This, of course, is my YouTube channel. This is what would be normally the Battlefront Livestream podcast, but of course that sort of ended with Battlefront 1 when I stopped playing that, and that will resume when we have Battlefront 2 actually in our hands later in November. What we're checking out this time is just a very quick look at the Battlefront 2 beta. Did quite a long look, about 2.5 hours worth yesterday, so this time we're only looking at maybe half an hour or so, give or take. Got a much busier day today, and we've got a podcast to record later in the day, so not really something where we can spend too much time with it, but I wanted to give you a sense of what's going on. First off, if you go to the website, that is the Battlefront website from EA, you will find that they lay out what some of the challenges are each day so that you can perhaps earn some things that carry over into the real deal kind of game. So it's these, okay, it's these timed challenges. They have added here, become Dark and Light Hero. That's going to be a very difficult thing to actually pull off because you have to get a shit ton of points to do that. I'm assuming it doesn't count doing it in arcade, but I may give it a shot just to see that little Darth Maul scenario. And then earn to be a hero. Okay, so it looks like maybe you play as one and then one of them has to be one that you spend the actual battle points on, perhaps, to get it. But you notice that each one has a time it expires. So we do have one here that does expire fairly quickly. 8 o'clock on the 6th, whereas these go through October 8th. We do have one here that's just the 5th. Okay, so yeah, just something to keep in mind. If you're trying to play this and do the different challenges for rewards and whatnot, there are some timed challenges as part of this process. Hey, DL. I do have 2 unopened crates. Not sure where one of them came from. Interesting. So there's a daily crate and there's a Battlefront veteran crate. Thanks for playing the Battlefront. Thanks for playing at all, I guess. Whatever, I'll take it. So, free stuff. Yeah, I'm liking it so far. I think that it has the promise to be better than the first Battlefront. I can already see some of the complaints forming for people, though. Stuff like, hello, Lieutenant. Stuff like, where's Waxer? I'm expecting perhaps that people are going to say, like, man, there's only 5 modes to start with. What the hell is this? Kind of stuff when it comes to multiplayer. I can see that being an immediate griping point. Beyond that, I do notice the fact that if you notice the important notice underneath here, right? For all these different crates, it says, important note, crate contents and rarity distribution are intended for multiplayer beta only, which suggests to me that we're going to see good loot harder to come by than in the beta in the regular game. And whether that's the cost of it, whether that's the rarity distribution itself, whether it's how they distribute the actual items, we'll see. But I think the fact that it says, you know, important notice here is a little bit concerning, and just the fact that these loot crates exist at all screams microtransactions. Absolutely screams that there will be microtransactions. And given that these crates are how you're getting your star cards, and in theory some of the better star cards could make a difference in gameplay to a significant degree, if they can, then this might be leaning towards complaints of pay to win, as opposed to pay to speed things up. Depending, again, on whether or not you can get everything in every type of crate. I take the example of Eve Valkyrie, who just moved to reward capsules. Anything you can get in a gold reward capsule that you pay for, you can get in a regular capsule, but regular capsules have no guarantee of specific rarity and give you anywhere between 2 and 4 items, whereas gold ones are definitely 4 items and always have something rare or above, if not more. I've actually got a gold reward capsule in Eve Valkyrie that had 4 epics in it. So we'll see how they deal with it and whether microtransactions fit into the scheme. They are talking about how the vast majority of new content is going to be free. If that is the case, then I could see them using microtransactions as a way of balancing that out from a financial standpoint. So we'll see. All right, so daily crate here. What do we got? I do like the fact that there are daily crates at all.
I'm in formation.
And you notice that each of these cards has a different level up there at the top. crafting parts allow you to unlock something like, say, a weapon before you actually get a star card for it in another way. Boba Fett now has quick refill. Okay, so then I've got 795 credits. I've actually spent some, so these other crates can't be dealt with yet. For what it's worth, the Starfighter crate gives you a definite Starfighter card and 2 other items. Trooper crate, 1 definite Trooper card and 2 other ones. So depending on whether you're trying to prepare yourself for Starfighter Assault or the other modes, you can kind of choose there. And then Allegiance crate is basically the one way where you're guaranteed either a Trooper or a Hero card rather than just a Trooper. And it actually costs 100 credits less. So, possibly worth it. Alright, so let's see. Again, for those who didn't check out the stream yesterday, the campaign doesn't have a demo. Hey, Ben. Campaign does not have a demo at all. It is just a preview. It's like a cutscene with a little preview type thing attached to the end of it. Multiplayer gives you Strike, Galactic Assault, which is the Theed thing, and then Starfighter Assault, which is kind of like Fighter Squadron, except it actually has objective-based things happening in it, not just kill everyone. And then you have the Arcade mode, which has solo and co-op matches, which will eventually be divided under battle scenarios into light side and dark side. We can only do dark side here, and you have the Wipeout and Roger Roger items. I actually haven't done Roger Roger yet, so I'm going to jump into Roger Roger. We have Team Battle at Theed, Naboo. The Separatist assault on Naboo has begun. Your unit of Separatist battle droids is ordered to take the throne room by force. Crush the clone troops. Protect your unit. You are not programmed for failure. No, we're just programmed for stupid humor, apparently. Do they have a lightsaber versus mode? No, they do not. At least not at this point. That may be something that you could tweak in Arcade, perhaps, depending on what they allow you to tweak. And there is a Heroes versus Villains mode, but it's not in the beta, which would probably be the closest thing to that. If you want lightsaber fighting, then you're going to want to pick up the Jedi Challenges game when it releases November 3rd, I think? First week of November, from Lenovo and Best Buy. It is a thing you put your smartphone into, you put on the AR glasses. It's augmented reality, not virtual reality. You have a controller that's like a lightsaber, a little unit, like a little glowing ball. You sit on the floor or sit on the table, so it tracks location. It creates this massive either battle scenario, like an RTS type battle scenario, or a Dejaric table, or enemies you can fight with motion control with the lightsaber controller. That actually looks like Anakin / Luke's / Rey's lightsaber. But this game does not have any type of dedicated lightsaber duel kind of mode. Alright, so let's jump in here. Why not? Let's see. I've actually got I got that Rise of the Empire set for Rebellion sitting on the table, but my table that I usually use to do the reviews has been covered with stuff because we had to move stuff around when we took in a relative for about a week during the aftermath of Tropical Storm Isis. So now that that's, or not Isis, Irma. Now that it's all cleared out, then we should be good. Speaking of which, next tropical storm coming to possibly affect Georgia, Tropical Storm Nate. Yeah. So, me, I guess. As for Jedi Challenges, I don't think I can. I don't think there's any way for you to see what I see. It would just be me looking like an idiot with the thing on, swinging the stick around. There isn't any way, as far as I know, to output what I would see to something that you guys could see. Okay, so you notice here, you do have several options when you first start out. Your health is up there in blue. Look at the Starfighter thing too in a second. You can sort of figure out what some of this stuff means. I guess not health up there in blue so much as it's like the amount of your squad. So the way that this works is most of the modes are not timed. Most of the modes instead work kind of like the old Battlefront games in that you have an amount of respawns, an amount of lives, basically, you know, clone bodies to go into, if we want to use the Eve Valkyrie way of putting it, that you are able to use during the scenario. And then once your team runs out, then it's over, because you have no more respawns. Basically, as soon as you run out, and I guess the next person dies, then that's when you have an issue. And it ends the match. Although I've seen a couple times where it shows instead, it says overtime. I'm not quite sure what the overtime is referring to yet. Yeah, I've switched my Gatling gun-ish thing to now be a explosive launcher. Yeah, I'm hitting the top. The problem is when you're actually shooting it, you can't move. It is weird jumping between eras because, you know, a Clone Wars era Rebel officer looks a lot like an Imperial officer or a First Order officer. Game volume's a little high. Okay, I don't think that there's any way that I can actually control the mix, but I'll have to take a look at it at some point. Usually I don't have the music on at all because of the copyright flags, and I already got one for yesterday's stream, but I wanted to keep it on since this is the beta, because the music may be something worth commenting upon. Show you how the loadout looks here in a minute. I did get more star cards yesterday. I played a little bit more. Now, if you're playing the beta and you're interested in testing out the squad mechanics, good freaking luck. The squad mechanic aspect and the team building thing, party building thing doesn't work on this yet. It's going to be in the final game, but not really in the beta. So the beta instead, the closest thing to squadding up that you can do is to pull up somebody on, at least on PlayStation, pull up somebody from your party chat that you've already got built outside of the game, and click on their name and choose join session, and sometimes you can, sometimes you can't, but as soon as one match is over with, you're split up again. So, from the standpoint of actually being able to do much, as far as group play, you really can't do much organized in the beta. Which is funny because you would think that that would be something they'd be wanting to stress test as part of the beta. Hey, you smacked me. I tried to smack you. See you, Boyle? Okay, we're only doing a fairly quick one here. Maybe half an hour, give or take. I need to make sure that by about 3, I'm hopping back off again because this is a lot of the schools alternate between days on a block schedule. And it just so happens that today is one of the more active block schedule days in the afternoon for the last periods before the kids all head off on the buses and stuff. Yesterday was the opposite. Yesterday I don't have hardly any people signed up at the end of the day for their classes. So it's nice to have the flexibility to be able to do this, but all within the context of what is most important, of course. 22 and 13, 4 minutes, 11 seconds. So notice it's not a timer that's counting down, it's a timer that's counting up. It's just, how long is this taking? Is it? I do tend to prefer the heavy and the specialist. Not so big on the officer, not so big on the regular assault trooper. At least not yet. Loaded. And I'm thinking that when it comes to this idea of be close to your allies in order to get bonus points, I'm assuming on the mini-map, if you notice there's like a little octagon around the triangle that represents you. I'm assuming if your allies are inside that octagon, that is what is letting you know that you're getting the extra. I guess. They don't explain it, I guess. One thing about betas do not take the time to explain things, as most of the time the tutorial stuff is built into things that happen in the regular game that aren't included in the beta for lack of time and space. Or space-time. I hear the music and I can feel the copyright flag from YouTube coming already. How dare he? So, I was talking about the whole customization thing. So, let's take, for instance, Boba Fett here, right? So what you'll do is, before a match begins, preferably, so you're not wasting time when you're in a match, you're going to go to Collection. And you're going to pick your classes. Now, you notice that you're not having to do one build-out for battle droids versus clones, or for Imperial versus Rebel, or for Resistance versus First Order, or anything like that. It's just based on class. So if you do something that affects your assault class, it affects all the different assault class versions that you might see, depending on what side you're on and what the time frame is of the scenario. So if I go to, say, Heavy, okay, you have your cards themselves. You're going to unlock card slots up to 3 as you progress. One is open a bit originally, then you got one that opens at 5, one that opens at 10. At least in the beta, it's 1, 5, and 10, or start 5 and 10. And then you'll have 2 different categories, basically. You have boosts, and the boosts just do something to help you sort of an overall lasting effect. Like in this case, I've got Resourceful, which has a 10% increase in your recharge speed of your abilities. Okay, and I can upgrade that if I want to. You notice underneath there for 80 crafting units, 80 resources, or whatever you call it. Okay, but these are ones that you just apply, and it does nothing to your actual abilities per se. It's some kind of buff to your character or boost to your character. Whereas these are new weapons, new abilities, and so forth that would replace one of the 3 different things you've got listed as your abilities, either the R1, the R1, L1, or both abilities with the cooldowns for your character. And it'll tell you which one it replaces. You can't just say, okay, well, I don't like this item that's on L1, so I'm just going to put this star card in to replace the L1 one. You don't have that kind of flexibility. It tells you, for instance, Supercharged Sentry replaces... You'll see there, you notice up in the top left corner of the actual card, notice it's got those 3 little hexagons, I guess they are, and it's got the one in the top middle colored in. That tells you this is going to replace whatever you've got at that spot, which is the Gatling gun. So it replaces that sort of Gatling gun type thing with this thing that's firing off explosive projectiles instead. The Detonite Charge replaces what you have on the left-hand side. The Barrage replaces what you have on the right-hand side, and so on and so on. But you can tell by the little icons there, and then each of them have, up at the very top, sort of I guess you could call it a rarity bonus. I suppose that's a term for it. But like the level of the ability, right? So here we've got 1 marker, so it's presumably bronze. So that's the first level you could get, which is only 10%. But if it was upgraded, then the next one would be silver. It'd have 2 markers at the top next to the plus, and that would be 15%, and so on, until you eventually wind up with something that is epic scale. The Elite Trooper Pack that you buy, if you buy that instead of the regular version of the game, which I think is like an extra $20 or so, is going to wind up giving you some epic abilities to start with. That's part of the draw of it. You also have your weapons. Now, right now, at least in the beta, there's only 2 weapons available per class. But you can choose between them. There's one that's default that you always have. The other one you unlock. And you can either unlock it by getting a star card for it, or you can, or whatever you call it, getting it out of a crate. I don't know if it's called a star card, since there's not really a card to represent it. Or you can spend your crafting points. Notice up there at the top, I've got 1,095 credits, 0, whatever the hell the other thing is there in the middle, and then 120 crafting units here. Okay, and then emotes. No emotes on him. I've got one I can show you on Rey. And then your victory pose you can choose for if you are the MVP at the end. It's not something that you do like just when the level is over, you just strike a pose, so much as if you happen to be the MVP, it looks like, you know, that or that when it shows your name. Kind of like the faces or your PSN icons used to show up in the original Battlefront. Speaking of emotes, I do have one of those for Rey. So what you do is you'll have an emote that you can select, and then once you select it, you tell it which of the 2 sides, either the left or right D-pad button, you want to connect, or you want to apply that specific emote to. So now if I hit right whenever I'm playing as Rey, if I ever play as Rey, she'll say, you know, I think I can handle myself. Okay. Let's see. To answer these lightsaber challenges, I'm excited for it, but they still haven't announced that my phone will even work with it. I have an iPhone 5S. It's set there at one place it says anything iOS 9 and above. Otherwise, it shows specific types of phones, and they keep saying more will be announced soon, and they have yet to ever update that list. So I'm hoping that my phone will even work with it. Otherwise, I may be buying a $200 freaking game item, only to wind up eventually needing to upgrade my phone to even use the damn thing. Best game mode, I personally am favorable to Starfighter Assault. What rating would I give the game so far? I mean, it's just a beta. For a beta, hey Antonio, by the way, for the beta, I'd probably say, it's probably about an 8 to 9, because it's showing what the potential is, and it's giving us a chance to try out a lot of different things that give us a good sense of the game itself, at least the multiplayer, non-story part of the game, but it's hard to say for the final game. Let's see, anything else in collection I wanted to show you? Yes, you do also have cards for your heroes as well. Okay, so Boba Fett, and it's not like you're just applying a card that could go to anybody, right? So Assault class has special star cards just for Assault class. Heroes have a special star cards just for that particular hero. But you can at least see what they are if you go and look on the page for it, because you'll see them grayed out. So the only thing I've actually got for Boba Fett is quick refill, so I'll go ahead and apply it there. If you ever want to know what their default abilities are, you hit triangle where you're on the page looking at them, and you can see your information there. Okay, so a bit more user-friendly of an interface than all the different layers of things to go through on the previous game. Career is going to track your stuff if you're looking for any other kinds of things to unlock. Note, I found this out yesterday. If you do, in your career, finish out something like, if I get the next 44 blaster rifle kills to complete blaster rifle expert, it doesn't automatically give you anything. You have to go into career, into that section, find the thing that's done, and click on it, and it'll change from redeem or something like that to completed and give you whatever it is it's supposed to give you. Alright, so you do get something out of it, but it's not automated. You got to make sure you go in there and actually turn in the stuff to get it. Alright, so that said, let's jump into... Oh, too far. Multiply. And jump into... Let's try Starfighter Assault. Why not? Love the fact that Starfighter Assault actually has, objectives. This is actually something, it's kind of like the previous Battlefront in that what shows for your progress up at the top completely depends on what mode you're in and what the objectives are. So there's a little bit of confusion, it seems like, about what exactly it is that's showing on your screen for something like this, like Starfighter Assault. I'll try to explain when that top menu changes what exactly it is it's supposed to be showing. Would I like to see Luke ignite his lightsaber in the I mean, honestly, either way, it depends on if it's... I'm much less concerned about whether or not it gives away... Nope, don't have anything for Interceptor yet. I'm much less concerned about it giving away, like, hey, he ignited his lightsaber, as giving away an awesome moment. So, like, if it's just a random moment in the film, no big deal. But if they do, like, with Darth Maul, and, hey, it's supposed to be a shocking thing, he's got 2 blades, and we're going to give it away in the trailer, I think that's kind of dumb. Alright, so, notice up there at the top, there's 2 dots and a percentage. Okay? The right-hand side is the thing that's telling us basically what time is left, sort of, because as the characters die, then the battle is over. And yes, these are leading indicators here. That's what the circles are. But you notice it says that there's 2 different Imperial ships to defend. You know that it's 2 because there's 2 dots underneath the blue 88% up there. Okay? And you know, and since there are 2, 50% of that 100% in blue represents the health of each ship. So right now, we have 2 ships that together have lost only about 21% of their total health so far. And if one of them gets destroyed, one of the dots will change. Like if it's your objective, I know the dot changes to a check mark. I'm not 100% sure if you're the defender rather than the attacker off the top of my head. Killed a web. Oh, did. And there isn't a lot of room for knocking into stuff on this one, unlike in Starfighter or Fighter Squadron on the other one. Anything? Nope. Okay. That's interesting. I thought I had star cards already applied for the particular Starfighter classes.
Initiating attack run.
I'm coming to save you! Oh no! They blew it up! Notice one of the 2 dots just turned into an X underneath the 30%. Whoa! One thing I will say that I don't like about the Starfighters in this so far is that the Starfighters, when you're playing, yep, like that. The Starfighters, when you're playing in, like, Galactic Assault, it seems as though they go way too fast to be effective blasting down to street level, because you zip along so much, you're so worried about running into the buildings that you're not going to get to do a whole heck of a lot. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not a VR type scenario, so you can't look out the side windows. That's why I tend to like this view better. Victory! Boom! And I love the Star Destroyer smashing into the block.
The rebels will think twice before daring to attack these yards again.
And that is, by the way, Fondor, in case you didn't catch that earlier. So Fondor actually gets to show up in a game. I probably didn't get anything with this. What? That's interesting. So, nobody. Huh. Well, something seems a little whack. Data unavailable until the next round. Okay. Because I was like 6, 7, or 8 or something yesterday.
Vulnerable, far from defenseless.
I would swear, it's like my stuff from yesterday isn't here. I mean, surely they're not resetting it every day. I mean, I guess they could because it's a beta, but that seems strange. And I had some of the star cards still sitting there for the characters that didn't come from crates today. Yeah, there's my cards. That's weird. Alright, so what do I want? I wanted Interceptor. What do we have? Advanced Engine Upgrade to reduce the cooldown of Afterburner, increases primary resistance to overheating. Let's do that one. And let's do that one. Okie day. Not sure why it's showing V-Wing instead of TIE Interceptor. I guess it's just because that happened to be the side that I was on for the last mission. So give Han something. Air Burst. Cool. Again, hard to say, Die. I actually just answered that a moment ago. I said probably about 8-ish. We don't get to see anything really of the campaign, but they're giving us a chance to really try out kind of a little bit of everything. Limited number of heroes, limited number of maps, limited number of modes. But a chance to get a feel for it and realize that it's at least a stronger setup than what we got with the previous Battlefront. I'm going to try to jump back into Starfighter Assault and see if those star cards took. Try not to choke and die. I guess there's a little bit of an irony to the fact that here we are, we're like, oh my god, it's Fondor again? Well, heck, it's just like that. There they are. It's just like the Rogue One Scarif mission on Battlefront 1. Constantly over Scarif, over and over and over and over again.
On my mark.
Because that was the only map you could do it on.
Destroying those cruisers is the first step.
Alright, so again, so now you see my team, 119 on my team. If it's in blue, it's your side, and it ends when you run out of people on your side. If it's red, it's showing you the enemy's number of characters left, or number of respawns left. Oh! go. I did say I was also going to. I'll need to make sure I very quickly. At the time, about 10 minutes. After this, I'll just very quickly go back in and check out the arcade mode with the Darth Maul scenario. I did that yesterday, but I want to see if that counts towards the whole use a hero thing for the challenge today. So I'm betting it's going to be difficult. This is Fondor.
We'll never get through one.
Oh. Interesting if on Fondor they were fond of fondue, but... I don't know. Maybe they're lactose intolerant on Fondor. Downside to playing these that I've found is that it takes a hell of a lot of battle points, which you earn by doing various things in the battle, of course. It takes a hell of a lot of battle points to ever actually be able to play as a hero. It takes like 5,000. Which kind of makes me wonder, kind of makes me wonder to what degree they're going to tweak the amounts. Like, if I want to be either of these ships, it's 2,500 or 3,500, but if you're playing in a typical infantry-style match, it's about 5,000. So, not sure what you're asking, Di. Yeah, it seems like it's being able to play as a hero outside of heroes. Damn. That was me running into it, I think, even though I don't think I actually was high enough to run into it, but whatever. I think that, brain's kind of leaking out. What was I saying? I have no idea what I was saying. Oh, I'm wondering if the challenges of things like the challenges that got set up today can be done in the regular game in Heroes vs. Villains. Because back in the original game, if it said, you need to play as a certain character, you could do that in Heroes vs. Villains. You didn't have to do it in a regular match, which was good, because that gave you then the opportunity to play as them with a little bit more certainty that you're actually going to be able to get that bounty or challenge done.
The cruisers are down.
Yeah,
for additional defenses.
the ships are a lot more fragile in this one. You take much less hits to be destroyed. There are no shields you can activate on the ships that I've seen yet. And running into anything just kills you instantly. Which is why flying over a battlefield sucks. If you actually take the time to get like an X-Wing or a gunship or something to fly over, well, not gunship, because gunship behaves differently. But if you want to get, a starfighter of some kind to fly over galactic assaults, good luck, because if you run into and clip your wing on a single building, you are dead instantly. Oh my goodness, somebody's got Boba Fett. There!
A Y-Wing squadron has joined us. Cover them so they can perform a bombing run.
No, I want to kill Boba Fett! Ah!
And it can just sit there on the results screen if you don't hit X. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Bad.
Antonio, probably either Captain America Civil War or Winter Soldier. Probably Winter Soldier.
Take down those shield generators. Then we can go after the
I like the sort of tales that have some level of analog to modern day, and that one has a lot with privacy concerns and so on. Yeah! Oh, I got points for playing the objective. They actually call it that. Nice. Uh-oh! Uh-oh! We're so screwed! What I haven't been able to find is, and maybe I'm just looking at the right place, or not looking at the right place. Let me see. Come on. 3, 2, there's no way to speed this up every freaking time. Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that maybe the right-hand side is your health, perhaps? Maybe? Like the right-hand side of the HUD up there on the side of the reticle? Maybe? You don't need to actually lock on with that one.
I'm on your side.
We're the rebels. There are no sides other than us.
Friendly bombing run initiated.
Crap. I didn't go high enough. Whoa! Boom! Killed by something. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. You're a paper mache ship. You are gonna die a lot. You're gonna die. It's interesting because it doesn't seem like your characters in infantry modes are nearly as fragile as they used to be, but boy, the ships are. 27 people left on our side. 24% on the last of the shield generators. And it does seem like when you move, depending on the game mode, sometimes when you move between phases of a battle, you'll be given more reinforcements. 14. I also do feel like whenever we actually have the real game, stop blowing yourselves up, dumbasses. When we get the real game, it'll help. I think that. That we'll have people who actually know what they're doing. Did we get it? Nope, defeat. We must have died. How does one player look? We have no idea. Single-player campaign does not exist in the beta. Closest thing is playing arcade in solo mode, but it plays just like, it feels like it plays like every other mode. So we do not have any sense yet at all what it's going to look like for the campaign. Okay, now my data's showing up. The level cap for the beta, by the way, is 10. A buddy of mine got to it last night, so. Alright, I'm going to jump in. I want to check the, whatchamacallit, check the challenge. Got a matter of minutes here. I'm going to check the challenge real quick, then jump into arcade mode and do the quick scenario as Darth Maul and see if that counts towards either of those challenges that have to do with heroes. Otherwise, playing as a hero is going to be a pain in the butt. To get that challenge done. So let's see. Career, timed challenges. Okay, so 0 out of 2 and 0 out of 1 for those two right now. Alright, so let's see. Let's go to arcade mode, which is single player or co-op. Let's go to solo. Can't do custom or tutorial yet. Let's go to battle scenarios. Can't do light side. Let's go to dark side. Only 2 options. Let's do wipe them out. Okay, the idea is that every time you kill, you gain time. You start with 20 seconds. You have to kill 25 clone troopers. And there are different tiers, but not in the beta. And the beta is just the bottom tier, 1 star. Darth Maul wields the power of the dark side to crush the Galactic Republic's pathetic clone army. Time is short, but the power of the Sith is strong. Now, somebody said before, wait a second, so how do all these fit into canon? These scenarios apparently do not, because as I recall, a fully whole, non-robo-legged Darth Maul never did spend a lot of time on, you know, Naboo fighting clone troopers that didn't exist until 10 years after he lost his legs. Notice the timer doesn't start until you actually engage and make the first kill. All right. Kill, kill, kill. Gotta kill them. Problem is waiting for the frickin' troopers to show up sometimes. Using the mini-map is absolutely key. I don't know where any of these other guys are. I'm running out of time! I got kills in 7. No, it's red up there, so it's how many on the other team, not my team. Blue would be if it was referring to my team. Oh, I got killed! I got zapped! With 25 seconds remaining. Oh my goodness. Which is fine, I guess, because it gives me a chance before the timer really starts going to get over to more of the enemy. Stop trying to... And they're dead. Okay, there we go. Wow, first time I did this, it took me like 4 minutes total, I think it was. If I remember correctly. Or maybe that was the other one. It adds time when you kill, yeah. It's like a lot of time trial things, like time trial racing games, where if you reach a certain point and you go through a ring or something, it adds to your time. Or in Farpoint, which is that awesome VR sci-fi shooter with the PlayStation VR aim controller, you get through a certain area and you cross through a threshold from one area to the next, and it gives you more time for the time trial kind of stuff. Yep. All right, so let's see if it counted at all, and then I will be out of here. I need to get some things done for these afternoon bits in the last period of the day before recording. I'm recording with Adam from the OSFans Network, so I'm recording a podcast tonight. All right, let's see. So, career. Time challenges. No, it did not count to play as Darth Maul in arcade mode towards the timed challenges. You must play as a hero in the actual multiplayer modes, apparently, which kind of stinks, because again, that's kind of difficult to do given that it requires a crap ton of battle points to be able to pull it off. And I believe, let me check that again, yes, both of those end at what looks like 8 o'clock tomorrow morning in some time zone, assuming that it's, yeah, let's say, assuming it's military time. And if you look here, yes, play the specialist, that shows a military time also. So yes, 0800. As in, oh my god, it's not as early as 6, but still. Alright, so let's go ahead. I'll go back to home. I'll open up one more crate just in case you're curious what's in it. And call it a day here. Wait a second. I thought I just said that I had... I thought I got something out of that. Maybe I didn't. Oh, no, it wasn't that. It was the fact that I saw that I had credits. That's what made me say I should go back in here. That's what it was. I got Trooper and Starfighter and Allegiance. Why not do Allegiance? Now, I will say that apparently, supposedly, and I don't know how, but supposedly in arcade mode, you should be able to earn things. I don't know what you earn, and it could be just as bad as the way that it worked on the first Battlefront game, which was, oh, you played the single-player co-op thing? There are only certain things you can gain, and you can only ever do them once. You can't just play it multiple times, so after a while, once you've played it enough, there's absolutely no point in ever going back to those modes again. I want to know if we're getting anything from that. I also want to know if we're going to get anything as far as crates and such that'll help us in multiplayer when we play the campaign mode. Or if the campaign mode will be completely divorced from it. We shall see. It's one of those things I'm interested in seeing how it plays out. I'm going to open up an Allegiance crate here. For 1,000. And 3 items every time. 1 is guaranteed to be as described. The other 2 are random.
You're covered.
Specialist Stealth 1. Boba Fett, I might let you live emote. Looks like. And 10 crafting parts. Woohoo! Sure, why not? Sure, why not? Alright, so, if you're interested in playing the beta, at this point, Amazon has sorted out their crap. They finally sent out the codes to pre-order people in the U.S. At about 11:30 last night, so of the 2 early access days, 1 of the 2 was already over. So that was pretty asinine. Though, thankfully, a lot of us were able to get with EA help and get codes dealt with at that point. Michael missed out on the entire first day of early access from Cloud City Casino. But thankfully, when they did send my code, I had gotten one from EA because they didn't send them out when they were supposed to, so I had an extra and handed it off to Mark from Star Wars Beyond the Films, so both of my podcasting buddies who I co-host things with will have played the beta and have a chance to talk about it. But the beta becomes open to everyone tomorrow. So make sure that if you haven't got a chance to play it, if you want to play it, whether it's PS4, Xbox One, PC, whatever, keep an eye out on your favorite game console store. Do a search for Battlefront 2 beta tomorrow, and you should be able to play it. The beta still runs a few days. I believe October 9th is the end of it. And then we'll have about a month and 8 days, I guess it is, between the beta and the real thing dropping. And yes, for those who are curious, it does look like the codes for the Battlefront beta early access are different codes than what will get you the goodies if you do pre-orders overall, which would be stuff like the Kylo and Rey skins and stuff like that. I believe, though, by the way, just to kind of a last service announcement, kind of a public service announcement, check out what it says on the pre-order page. If you want to get the Yoda's Lightsaber Mastery Star card, and I think also the Rey and Kylo Ren skins for Last Jedi, but definitely Yoda's Lightsaber Mastery, you absolutely must make sure that if you're going to pre-order the game, you pre-order it by the 9th of October. It's not just any pre-orders. If you don't pre-order by the 9th, they will not guarantee it, and it all says, while supplies last, blah, blah, blah. So be aware. Although, honestly, while supplies last, it's a digital item. It's not like it's going to frickin' run out. It's just the codes that can run out. So come up with something better. But you have your two options. I'm going to be picking up the Elite Trooper Deluxe Edition physical order through Amazon, and I'll show you all that's with it and all the pre-order stuff whenever it finally comes out in November. Should be doing some more Battlefront 2 beta live streaming coming up in the next few days. For now, thank you for watching, and hopefully you'll get a chance to play it tomorrow if you haven't yet. Have a good one.